Zippity-doo-dah, zippity day. My, oh my, it's a misty, cloudy day. Happy Thursday, 10th day of December, 2020. I am Dan Kuntz, and this is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, and we got a lot of show for you today. Lots to get to, a lot of news, a lot of weather to get to. There's a parade of systems lined up there, and we're going to get a little bit of snow, they tell us, over the weekend. Yeah, especially Saturday. We're keeping a very close eye on Saturday. And Saturday night, that's the best chance of measurable snow. Could get a couple of inches here on the valley floor. Ain't gonna last, because we're gonna be near 40 degrees for the high on Saturday and Sunday, but things are gonna get a little active weather-wise. Forecast details are coming up. A lot of news to get to. Newsroom was busy yesterday. It has been. It's been a busy few weeks from our news department. We got more stuff for you to keep you informed. We're strong believers in that. We got sports. Cougars should have just rolled right over the Idaho Vandals, and they didn't. They won, but it was way too close for Cougar fans' comforts. Also talk Husky basketball, preview the weekend coming up in the world of the Seattle Seahawks and our broadcast schedule. Plus, we'll have the obscure holiday today in history, some celebrity birthdays, and everybody's entitled to my not his opinion. And yesterday, a couple of really cool people came by to pay me a visit. We're going to play that interview for you in the back half of the hour. They're both involved with the Ease Cancer Foundation. It's for people who have survived the big C, and they need a little help to get their lives somewhat back to normal as can be expected. They normally would all get together at the Sun Mountain Lodge and do these classes and things for a weekend. They can't do that now because of the COVID-19 thing, but Dr. Tim Burnham from Central Washington University and Ginny Heinitz from Confluence Health are going to talk about how you can get involved, and it starts this Saturday, as a matter of fact. So it's important stuff. For you cancer survivors out there, and I'm glad that we did that interview. We'll air that for you in the back half of the hour. Cloudy, misty, freezing fog, 28 degrees. We had a couple of accidents, I heard on the scanner throughout the course of the morning, but nothing big so far. Let's see what we got. And again, because of the low clouds and fog, we're kind of limited on the kind of the cameras we can use. That looks to be the Omi Garden camera, or Omi Gardens camera, if you will. Now you're thinking, why can we use that but not the cross camera? Well, the cross camera's out of action. It's just completely fogged over. The Omi Gardens camera, which is almost at the same elevation, is usable, and they're really not that far from each other. So we say good morning to our friends out in the north part of town, the Stemilk Complex, the Odiabashan Bridge, and the Wenatchee Valley. We're still a ways from sunrise. Sunrise isn't until 7:38. And I mentioned this yesterday. Sunset at 4:10, and that's about where it's going to stay now. The sun's not going to go down to any earlier or later than 4:10 until we get right up until the first day of autumn. And by the way, this is something I want to point out. Yesterday's high was only 38. Now we had that bountiful sunshine. We had a few clouds that burned off. And people say, well, 38, it felt a lot warmer than that. But this is important, and we need to mention this every once in a while. You got to remember where the Wenatchee Valley is, what you're looking at now, where the river comes through, right through the heart of the Wenatchee Valley. It's 604 feet above sea level. But all the official weather station measurements that they all take, the day's highs and the lows and the winds and the dew point, the barometer and all that stuff, that's all done up at Pangbourne Memorial Airport. And at Pangbourne, it's 1,181 feet above sea level. So there's a 577-foot difference between the valley floor, the bottom of the valley, and where they actually have the measuring equipment from the National Weather Service. And that 577-foot distance difference between the two can make all the difference in the world, because it certainly felt warmer than 38 yesterday. Camera number 2, where are we off to, Megan? Let's see. I can't wait. That looks to be perhaps maybe either I'm saying Lower Butte. Hey, got one right. Hi, Lower Butte. Hi, Chelan is what I should say, the Chelan Valley, looking over to the Union Valley area. As you can see, they're dealing with some low clouds and fog, and the Chelan area is going to get some snow. Everybody's going to get a little bit of light snow anyway, probably Saturday night into Sunday. We could get some spittles of snow before that. We'll show. We got a couple of graphs to show for you to keep you basically the timeline of what to expect for snow. Camera number 3. We are off to see, well, a beautiful sunrise someplace. I'm kind of hard to make out. Obviously, wherever that camera is pointed to the east. Rune Canyon, Megan? Hey, I'm 3 for 3. Good morning, Rune Canyon. That's a beautiful sunrise, even though it's not quite there yet up north. And the Waterville Plateau, obviously, more susceptible because of the higher elevation to more snow. You could get 3-4 inches of snow up in Waterville. Camera number 4. And it's McNeil Canyon. Nanapoc Ridge. I get those two confused. I look at that big bump in the background and I thought it was the Chelan Butte. That's Dirty Face Mountain, so that's Nanapoc Ridge up near the Lake Wenatchee area. Fish Lake is way off to your right. If it was clear, you can see almost all of Fish Lake and just a little sliver of Lake Wenatchee, and of course the highway that runs between Coles Corner and the Lake Wenatchee area. Beautiful view from Nanapoc Ridge overlooking the area, and that mountain to your left is Dirty Face Mountain. So there you go. I wasn't perfect. Well, what do you do? Po buddy's nerfect, as they used to say. 6 minutes after the hour. Snow is going to return tomorrow. Not much, just a little bit. Take a look at where you live. Just a little bit of snow, light snow, maybe a bit of a dicey commute on Friday. They're 50-50 confidence. We're going to get a little bit of light snow Friday and Friday night. Chance of precipitation here is going to be around 20-25%. So it's not much of a chance of snow, and if we get snow on Friday, it ain't going to be much unless, of course, you go along the Cascade Crest and the Idaho Panhandle. So it's a weak storm system that's going to come in on Friday. A much more robust storm system is going to come in on Saturday night and Sunday. We are just pretty much everybody in eastern Washington is going to get some snow. It's going to be pretty active on Saturday night, especially Saturday night and into Sunday. A little bit of light rain perhaps, but for the most part, it's probably going to come down in the form of snow. It's not going to amount to a lot of snow, but it's going to be a white Sunday morning. We are pretty sure about that, okay? In fact, from the National Weather Service, let's go ahead and take a look at what we have for you on this Thursday morning. Lots of clouds, lots of fog, not real, I don't know. It's just going to sit there. Thursday and Friday are just going to be kind of days. 37 might be a little high. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe more like 34, 35. But hey, we'll go with 37. 29 for the overnight low. Once again, the sun's taking tomorrow off as well. We'll top off maybe at about 40. There's a slight chance of a little bit of light snow tonight into Friday. I wouldn't bet on it. Snow level is going to be right around 1,300 feet. We're also going to be dealing with some patchy freezing fog forming tonight into early Friday morning. Friday night, not a lot out there. Again, about a 20% chance of snow. I don't think it's going to happen. Saturday, sunshine after the patchy morning fog burns away. We're going to be dealing with that freezing fog and misty conditions like we have now. It's going to happen on Friday morning and on Saturday morning, but the thing we're really keeping an eye on is Saturday night. About 10, 11 o'clock, they think it's going to start snowing. We could get here in the Wenatchee Valley 1 to 2 inches of snow. Yeah, on Saturday night, spilling into Sunday morning. Sunday morning, it depends on what time you get out of bed, but you're going to wake up to a little bit of light snow on Sunday morning, and then it should be melting off. As you can see, we'll top off at about 37 degrees. But again, we're looking at some snow Saturday night into Sunday. Pretty good chance of that. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's all kind of unsettled. A little bit of snow here, a little bit of snow there. But the major snow, and it ain't even really much of that, a couple of inches Saturday night into Sunday. To the mountain passes we go. I-90 is good. Zip right on through. No advisories, no restrictions. The roadway is bare and wet. And we always remind you, if you plan on traveling over the mountain passes, please, and we can't stress this enough, use an automobile. Blewett Pass. Stevens. Let's go to Stevens. Traction tires are advised on US 2. Clear skies up above. It's a little bit of snow and ice on the roadway. And again, when we talk about snow and ice on the roadway on Stevens, it's usually right at the very top of it, that last little 10-mile stretch on either side of the summit of Stevens Pass. Blewett Pass has a traction tire advisory. They're dealing with a little bit of frost and ice in places on Blewett. A couple of inches of snow possible tonight in the mountain passes. They should be dry for the most part today. A little bit of snow tonight, a little bit of snow on Friday. Saturday night is the next big event. We talked about snow here, a couple of inches in the valley possibly. They're talking about 5 inches of snow or more even on Saturday night, more snow on Sunday, and then off and on snow for most of next week. Saturday night and Sunday is not going to be a very good day to drive in the Cascades if you don't like to drive in the snow. Going to take a break at 9 minutes after the hour and come back with your Thursday morning news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
CVCH wants to make your winter just a little brighter with their Get Out and Explore gift giveaway. This December and January, visit cvchgetout.com and download fun, safe, and simple activity guides to 4 beautiful towns in our backyard: Wenatchee, Chelan, Cashmere, and Leavenworth. Most activities are free of charge and unique to the community you visit. So get out and explore. Visit cvchgetout.com for details.
Stay active and independent for life. SAIL is an evidence-based strength, balance, and fitness program. The exercises in a SAIL class have been packaged into a formal regimen focusing on 4 key areas important to the health and fitness of mature participants: low-impact cardiovascular, balance work, strength training, and stretching. SAIL classes are designed for people of all fitness levels and can be done sitting or standing. Join us for SAIL on the NCW Life channel. Check your listing for days and times.
11 minutes after the hour, it's cloudy, it's foggy, it's misty, it's 28 degrees. Lots of clouds today, lots of clouds on Friday. Snow coming our way Saturday night and Sunday morning. And here are your headlines. A single-wide modular home in South Wenatchee destroyed in an early morning fire. This happened yesterday morning. Chelan County Fire District District 1 Public Information Officer Kay McKellar said the occupants were not in the home when the fire broke out about 6:36 in the morning in the 200 block of Antilles Street near Lincoln Park. Firefighters closed the street for a couple of hours because water created an icy roadway, as you might imagine. There were no injuries. Firefighters were mopping up by about 8:30, and Kay McKellar tells us the cause of that fire is under investigation. A vehicle that authorities believe may have been stolen rolled and caught fire on Highway 97 near Orondo yesterday morning. Washington State Patrol Trooper John Bryant said the driver of the 2000 Subaru Legacy transported to Central Washington Hospital for injuries not believed to be serious, but Bryant said the unidentified driver is suspected of being impaired and faces additional potential charges if they establish that the vehicle was in fact stolen. The accident happened about 9:48 in the morning on milepost 225. Both lanes, by the way, of the highway were closed for a while because of the fire. That driver, suspected of fleeing multiple police agencies as they investigated a vehicle prowl, now faces charges in 2 counties. That's Miles Barry Davis. He's 27 years old, and he was charged Tuesday in Douglas County with eluding police and hit and run. On the same day, Chelan County prosecutors filed charges of eluding, theft, and vehicle prowling. Davis and his passenger, 31-year-old Americo Deshawn Flight, allegedly used a rented Dodge minivan while stealing a purse and a backpack from parked cars in Wenatchee. This happened 1 week ago. Then he fled from police across the Senator George Seller Bridge onto the Sunset Highway and eventually got as far as the south side of Blewett Pass before Washington State Patrol troopers eventually caught up with them and stopped them in Kittitas County. A Rock Island man is accused of concealing a cell phone in a bathroom to record women in moments of privacy. Martin Ruiz Jr. is charged in Douglas County Court with 3 counts of first-degree voyeurism. Sheriff's deputies say a member of Ruiz's household discovered the phone on December 5th while it was recording. The captured video allegedly showed 2 females using the bathroom, one of them just 5 years old. Deputies arrested Ruiz later that day. He's due to be arraigned on December 21st. The Wenatchee School District now has new tentative start schedules for when students can return to some in-person classes. Administrators say they're going to start bringing back 3rd graders for hybrid classroom time on Monday of next week, Monday, December 14th. After an evaluation period in early January, 4th graders might begin classroom work on January 11th. 5th grade students, January 20th, and middle through high schoolers on January 26th. Those dates, of course, are all subject to change. The district paused most of its plans to reintroduce in-person learning when COVID-19 rates skyrocketed around the Wenatchee Valley in the last few weeks. Families that don't want their kids attending still have online learning options available to them. Chelan County's enforcement of building, zoning, and environmental codes going to move from an administrative department to the sheriff's office starting next year. County commissioners approved the change in a Zoom meeting on Tuesday. The responsibility will move out of the county's Community Development Department effective January 1st, and Chelan County Sheriff Brian Burnett will designate code officers to investigate violations and enforce compliance. Jim Brown, who was hired last year as Community Development Director, says his office and the sheriff's office will share some authority.
We'll have to work out the process pieces between the 2 agencies, because clearly there's going to be portions of the process that are going to involve joint work together. Some larger potential violations may require a more intensive amount of investigation within codes and agency records held by community development, but we're committed to working collaboratively with the Sheriff's Office to make this work and get the job done.
Finally, on this Thursday morning, just like they did last spring, employees at the Chelan County PUD gathered at several locations outside Central Washington Hospital for the shift change early yesterday morning to give their thanks to healthcare workers. The general manager of the PUD, Steve Wright, and his staffers understand the pressure employees at the hospital are under during the COVID-19 pandemic, and Confluence Health CEO Dr. Peter Rutherford told us the show of support is very much appreciated.
Our folks are part of the community. They understand how important the hospital is to this community, and because we've got a lot of folks who provide service the dead of night, the cold of winter, they know how difficult it can be to provide service, and they wanted to be able to share their thoughts with the folks here about how much they're appreciated. We wish there was more we could do. Actually, I think I've heard that a lot. I wish there were more ways to be able to communicate how much we care and how much we appreciate the work that's being done out here. We've had 30 infections at work, and that translates into a lot of concern, a lot of risk. We've had one of our employees that was hospitalized. So it's there, and in fact what we see is as the infection rates rise and fall in the community, it rises and falls with PUD employees.
I ended up talking with Steve Wright a couple of weeks ago and mentioned that you know, the staff was kind of tired and so on, and he said, well, how about if we come and say thanks? And I think that was a great gesture on their part and certainly most appreciated.
One final note, and it is not good news. Press release yesterday from Darcy Christopherson, the administrator of the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival. They have decided to not have their rescheduled annual auction. It was rescheduled for January 23rd of next year. It will not be held. I'm going to quote from the press release. We will be adding a fundraising element to the royalty selection pageant, which is scheduled virtually through us, the NCW Life channel, on February 27th of next year. You'll hear more of that as we get closer to that time period. It is 18 minutes after the hour with a preview of tonight's news. Here's Jefferson Robbins. Oh, we're sorry, we don't have that, but what I do have is how you can get a hold of us. You can go to Facebook and drop us a line via Facebook Messenger. You can email us directly, news@ncwlife.com. That's the best way, news@ncwlife.com. Or you can go to our website, ncwlife.com, and at the very top of the page, you'll see the contact icon. Click on it, a form pops up. You don't have to go, I just did that as a sound effect, and then you can fill out the form as well. By the way, if everything works out, Grant Olson will be back tonight, which means I don't have to do the weather or the weather forecasting. Anyway, with a preview of tonight's news, here's Jefferson.
Hello, Dan. It's good to see you this Thursday morning. Jefferson Robbins here behind the festive mask. Hope you've still got the one Brenda gave to you. I'm filling in for Grant Olson. Join us tonight at 5, 6, and 10 this evening for the NCW Life Evening News. We'll have a glimpse of what Wenatchee Valley College's new and improved Wells Hall is starting to look like. That and all the news affecting your Central Washington communities, plus the day's weather outlook and sports with Eric Granstrom. The NCW Life Evening News at 5, 6, and 10 this evening. We might have a surprise guest. We'll see you tonight. Until then, stay healthy.
All right, when we come back, we got sports, the obscure holiday, today in history, celebrity birthdays, and all kinds of stuff, including a very important conversation with Dr. Tim Burnham from Central Washington University and Ginny Heinitz from Confluence Health about the Ease Cancer Foundation. They begin their classes coming up this weekend. They're going to do it virtually, but first, a friendly word from our friends at Collins Fashions in downtown Wenatchee. Brighton jewelry and handbags, sweaters and cozy boots. Collins Fashions at the corner of Palouse and Wenatchee Avenue. And our friends at the Highlander Golf Course and Grill. You don't have to be a member to enjoy the Highlander Golf Course and Grill. You can enjoy 18 holes of golf when they're open, and it's fun to play. And we'll be right back.
Merry Merry Christmas, Wenatchee Valley. Collins is decorated and fully stocked with wonderful gifts. Luxurious cashmere wraps and sweaters, stylish coats to keep you warm, adorable at-home wear from PJ Salvage, socks, fresh popcorn treats, caramels from Boston, natural candles from Bend, Oregon in differing scents, hand-carved soaps, beautiful and amazing lather, scarves, coats, etc., etc., and the largest Brighton assortment of jewelry and handbags in North Central Washington. Ladies, come in and fill out your wish list, and we will wrap it up at Collins in downtown Wenatchee.
Highlander Golf Course is proud to announce their 2 new state-of-the-art full-swing golf simulators with over 80 courses of virtual golf to choose from year-round. Or try their Laser Shot simulated firearm program, or gaming with football, basketball, and much more. Enjoy Highlander food and drink service from their full-service bar and grill in the comfort of their simulator room. Call the Highlander Pro Shop to book your time at 884-4653. That's 884-4653.
21 minutes after the hour, sports. Let's go right to the Les Schwab scoreboard, college basketball. Last night, Noah Williams, 19 points, including a pair of free throws with 10 seconds left. The Cougars rally, beat the Vandals 61-58. They trailed by as many as 11 during the course of the game. They were down by 9 in the second half, and that's when Williams kicked off a 19-0 run with 4 free throws. Isaac Bonton scored 12 for Wazoo. He had 8 rebounds. Andre Jakumovsky chipped in 11. The Cougars are off to a 4-0 start. They'll host Portland State Sunday at 2 o'clock. Cade Green had 18 points. Nate Pryor added 13. Huskies pick up their first win of the year. They knocked off Seattle last night, 73-41. That's right. That's all they scored, 41 points. In fact, that 41 points by Seattle tied the second fewest allowed by a Mike Hopkins coach team at Washington. In earning their first victories, the Huskies topped 70 points for the first time this year. They shot 46% from the field, 8 for 15 on three-pointers. They will host Oregon Saturday at 5 o'clock. Mike Varell of the Seattle Times reporting that the University of Washington has paused all team-related activities in its football program because of an increase in positive COVID-19 tests. So the status of Saturday's game at Oregon remains unclear. This is the first time this season that the Huskies, which had games against California and Washington State, canceled because California and Washington State had issues with COVID-19. This is the first time the Huskies had to pause team activities and not their opponent. The Huskies were to undergo additional PCR testing. I'll make a decision before noon today on whether they'll be playing in Eugene on Saturday. Tonight is hockey night on the NCAA Life Channel. It starts out our week of sports broadcasts. 7 o'clock, Wenatchee Wild Surrey Eagles from last January at the Town Toyota Center. Arch Ecker, our good friend, with the play-by-play.
And then Overland drills it in, and he absorbs a huge hit by Ackle on the near wing. Over to the far boards. Eagles turn it over. Chorsky shoots and he scores! Nico Chmielewski stole it away down in the left wing corner. And he threw it out in front for Chorsky. And Chorsky with a little one-timer just punched it in low on the glove side. And the rebound played by the Eagles, gloved by Maine, but then off a body. Trickles out to center. Here's Tellier. He's in, he dangles, he shoots, and he scores. Christophe Tellier. Kim's going to end up with the puck, though, after a couple of touches. And back the other way, here come the Eagles. In, shot, and a save made, but the rebound is driven in. O'Hearn picks it up, and it gets his pocket picked by Sam Morton. He's in, he shoots, he scores! Sam Morton with an unassisted tally.
Who wins? Ain't gonna tell you. Got to tune in tonight at 7 to find out. Tomorrow night, we got high school hoops, Big 9 doubleheader. Eastmont hosting Davis, the girls at 7, the boys at 8:30. On Saturday, it's Eastmont and Wenatchee basketball from Wenatchee High School, girls at 2, boys at 7. It's taken most of the season for the Seahawks to be able to finally figure out the potential of their first-round draft pick, Jordan Brooks. The linebacker out of Texas Tech, of course, was injured early on and didn't see a great deal of playing time. Now he's a regular starter at his best game of the year against the Giants last weekend. Veteran linebacker Bobby Wagner says Brooks has the right approach this season. He's taking tips from himself and K.J. Wright on figuring out how to improve.
Kind of coming in, quiet at first, want to kind of, figure out, who's in the building and how, where do I fit in the program and things of that nature. Coming from a semi-smaller school, I think Utah State is smaller than Texas Tech, but, coming from a school that wasn't really well known for certain things, and coming in just want to make your mark. And I didn't start right away when I got here. I was starting on base, and I didn't start, I think, until like the 6th game. So you try to, share that knowledge to them, because I know when guys come in, they want to, be the star that they were, in college, and it just doesn't work like that. You have to, learn a very complex defense, and you have to just find a way to get better every week, which I think he's doing. And, he's leaning on me and KJ a lot. I think me and KJ have both spoken that, we're an open book, and we want to give our knowledge, because at the end of the day, we want to help, people feed their families. And so I think he's understanding that, listening, and he's been playing better and better every week, and I'm excited to see his growth.
Defensive coordinator Ken Norton Jr. says Brooks has been a sponge this season, soaking up all the information that comes his way.
It's really fun to watch a young player like Jordan just keep gathering information. The more plays he gets, the better he gets, the better questions he's asking, the better decisions he's making. And it happens with all players, but in his situation, he's got so much talent, and it's such a different game than he played in college. It's so much more disciplined. We're playing a lot more defenses. He has a lot more responsibility. He has to deal with the other leaders and his accountability to the rest of the team. And he's putting all that together and putting together a really solid few games. So I'm really excited about his development so far, and it's only going to get better.
He had 10 tackles, Brooks did, last Sunday against the Giants at Lumen Field. For Jordan, he says the hardest part of this season, because of all the COVID-19 restrictions, is trying to develop personal relationships with his teammates.
I think the most difficult part about this whole COVID issue and then restrictions is just not getting a lot of time outside the facility to get with the guys and really form relationships and really get that one-on-one time with guys outside the facility. So I'll probably say that's been the biggest issue.
It is the Seahawks and the Jets. It'll be Sunday afternoon, 1:05 from Lumen Field. Still getting used to that. It'll be televised by CBS. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. On this Thursday, 27 minutes after the hour, the obscure holiday, it's Dewey Decimal System Day. So keep track of the books in the library, and it's celebrated on December 10th because that's the birthday of Melville Dewey, the guy who came up with the Dewey Decimal System. If you invent something, you name it after yourself most of the time. The Dewey Decimal System goes all the way back to 1876. 10 main fields that are then divided into more fields and then smaller and then specialized areas. Libraries have a lot of books, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of books. They got to keep track of them. They use the Dewey Decimal System. By the way, Melville Dewey was also one of the biggest proponents of the metric system. Couldn't figure out why everybody but us uses the metric system. In fact, there are only 3 countries in the world who don't use the metric system, which is what the Dewey Decimal System is based on. Liberia, Myanmar, and us. And you don't want to be associated with Liberia and Myanmar a great deal of the time. The Dewey Decimal System. Celebrate it today with a library that you love. Today in history. Happy birthday, Mississippi, 203 years old today. That's the temporary new flag of Mississippi. Remember, they got rid of you know what I'm talking about. They got rid of it, finally. That's the new flag of Mississippi. It still hasn't been approved yet by the Mississippi State Legislature, but it's just a formality. Mississippi joined the Union as the 20th state on this date in 1817. It's known as the Magnolia State. Mississippi was the very last dry state. Alcohol sales were strictly prohibited in the entire state of Mississippi until 1966, and there are still a lot of counties in Mississippi that have blue laws. Mississippi was the last state to ratify the 19th Amendment. They were the last state to ratify the 13th Amendment. Mississippi and West Virginia are the only 2 states in the Union that has actually lost population over the last decade. People are dying quicker than people are being born, and more people are moving out of Mississippi than moving in to Mississippi. Mississippi has been beat up pretty good, but a lot of it was their own doing. Their median household income ranks them dead last among all 50 states. Mississippi has the highest obesity rate of any state in the union. It is first in the nation for high blood pressure, diabetes, has the highest rate of infant deaths and the highest early mortality rate. You don't live long if you live in Mississippi, but we love you anyway. 203 years old today. We lost Otis Redding 53 years ago today, the legend Otis Redding and his backup band, the Bar K's. Their airplane that they were in crashed in the icy waters of Lake Monoma outside of Madison, Wisconsin. Otis Redding was killed, his valet was killed, the pilot and 4 members of his band, the Bar K's, were killed. They weren't actually killed by the impact of the crash. It was later revealed during the autopsies that they drowned. They were all, of course, seat buckled in, and the plane sank so quickly they couldn't get themselves out. The only member to survive was the trumpet player, Ben Cawley, and he survived. When he realized the plane was going to crash, he actually unbuckled his seatbelt and was able to swim to the surface, and he clung to his seat cushion until he was rescued. By the way, the cause of the crash was never determined. Otis Redding was 26 years old, but the music lives on. The 300 million yen robbery happened on this date 52 years ago in 1968. 300 million yen in 1968 came out to about 817,000 US dollars. It's a fascinating crime. 4 guys in a company car working for Toshiba had 300 million yen in metal boxes in the trunk of the car. They were on their way to the annual Toshiba company Christmas party, and they handed out all of the Christmas bonuses in cash. Well, on their way to the party, they got pulled over by a uniformed police officer on a motorcycle who said, "Your boss's house just got blown up by terrorists, and we just got word, a tip, that a terrorist has planted a bomb in your car. They want to blow it up. You get out of the car and I'm going to check." And so they got out of the car, and he crawled underneath the car, the cop did, and said, "There's a bomb, get out." And they all ran away, and the cop got in the car and drove away, and there you have it. The crime has never been solved. Let's talk about your chutzpah. Happened on this date 52 years ago today. And we mentioned the Jets. The Seahawks play the Jets on a Sunday at Lumen Field. The Jets, of course, for many, many, many years played at Shea Stadium in Queens, and they played their very last game at Shea Stadium on this date 37 years ago today. They were going to move to Giant Stadium. It was obvious. Everybody knew it. This was going to be the last game. They lost to Pittsburgh 34-7. The fans didn't take it well. During the game, they got pretty rowdy, pretty drunk, stole seats, stole benches, ripped down the goalposts, and just basically tore Shea Stadium apart as they said goodbye to the Jets, who moved over to New Jersey the next year. Birthdays at 33 minutes after the hour. The legendary newsman Chet Huntley, one half of the Huntley-Brinkley Report, by far the most popular and famous nightly newscast of the 1960s and early 70s, born in the state in 1911. A Montana native, got his broadcasting start at Cairo, worked at KHQ, eventually worked his way down to Los Angeles, then of course became, between 1956 and 1971, one half of the Huntley-Brinkley Report. Chet Huntley died of stomach cancer at the age of 62 in 1974. Man, I had a crush on Susan Day when I was a kid. Lori Partridge from the Partridge Family. Yeah, come on, get happy. Susan Day is 68 years old today. Bobby Flay, I like watching him on TV. I like watching people cook. I love home improvement shows and cooking shows. I don't like home improvement, and I don't like to cook, but I like to watch other people do it. I like to watch Bobby Flay cook. He's pretty cool. He's 56 years old today. And the tallest person on the planet. He's a farmer from Turkey. His name is Sultan Kosin. He is 8 foot 3 inches tall, and he's 38 years old today, and he's actually getting shorter. When you're 8 foot 3 inches tall, at one point he was 8 foot 5 inches tall, but he's got a bad back and he can't stand up straight all the way anymore. That's what happens when you're over 8 feet tall. Going to take a break. Mike McKnight is going to the opinion. Then my conversation with Dr. Tim Burnham from Central Washington University and Ginny Heinitz from Confluence Health about the Ease Cancer Foundation. It's coming up. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life Channel.
What is it about Tipsy Canyon Winery that keeps people coming back? Is it the magnificent view from the hillside tasting room? Is it the exceptional but affordable wines? Or is it just the fact that you feel right at home from the minute you walk through the door? Actually, it's all this and more. Experience the Tipsy Canyon Winery located just outside of Manson. Your new home away from home.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, some folks have been protesting this coronavirus lockdown, and those who have been taking this virus threat seriously have been attacking some of those on social media, ridiculing them because they want to risk their lives, and others so they can golf or get a haircut. Okay, but what I said to someone recently was this. Had this lockdown happened to me years ago when me and my kids were younger, and both my wife and I worked, and suddenly we couldn't go to work and the kids had to be at home, we would have been in a lot of trouble. Now, I can understand the protest. For some, it's not just a matter of a haircut. It's a matter about your life. Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and that's my opinion.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. I don't know how I got so lucky. Yesterday we had a chance to talk to Dr. Grass at Confluence Health. She's in the behavioral health department. We talked about COVID and the holidays and mental health. And now we get to turn right around the next day and talk to some more good folks associated with Confluence Health. Dr. Burnham is not really associated with Confluence Health. He's a professor of exercise science at Central Washington University, but he is part of a very important foundation, the Ease Cancer Foundation, which is about surviving cancer and exercising and getting yourself back and running again. And we want to welcome Dr. Burnham to the program. Hello, Tim.
Thank you, Dan.
It's good to see you. Give me a little, I'm not familiar with the exercise science department at Central Washington University.
Yeah.
What exactly is that?
What we do in exercise science and clinical physiology is we prepare young students to become physical therapists. So we have a track that we run into gyms, and then we have a track that's a clinical track that runs into physical therapy. So the basic classes in anatomy, physiology, clinical phys are basically the same. So the people that you see coming through as physical therapists locally, many of them have come through our program.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Tim, but is that an exploding industry? It seems like a lot of people are getting into or becoming professional physical therapists.
Yes, they are.
People simply living longer or want to live healthier? How can you?
I think it's probably people living a little bit longer, and as we live a little bit longer, we get injured, we have an orthopedic problem, we have a knee, we have a shoulder, something like that, and these folks help us out.
And this is, it's funny, I just studied, I don't really study it, but I read this, like, it wasn't long ago, maybe about a month ago, Tim. 50 years ago, physical therapy didn't even exist.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you broke your leg in a skiing accident, you wear a cast and see ya, bye, you know, and now it's...
Now it's actually pretty sophisticated.
Yeah.
So they can hone in on your whole body, they can hone in on a part, it's quite sophisticated.
Yeah, and it's and kudos to those people who do that. I wish when I had my first surgery there was such a thing as physical therapy. I'm 87 years old, Tim. Mm-hmm. I'm kidding. You brought some very important information. Now, this is something that you normally do in person in this COVID world, Doc. Ain't happening.
Yep.
Give us a rundown of what exactly it is you were here to talk about.
Well, we established the Ease Cancer Foundation 15 years ago or so, and EASE stands for Exercise and Survivorship Education.
Nice acronym.
And our goal is to bring rehabilitative cancer services to rural areas, which includes the Wenatchee Valley. And typically what we do, we partner with Confluence Health and the YMCA and the Wenatchee Valley YMCA. And what we do is we run a couple of workshops every year, and these are pretty big things. Our biggest one is a fall workshop at Sun Mountain, and a lot of your viewers have probably been there or heard about it. It's a 2-day workshop, lots of activities. They stay up at Sun Mountain. Well, we couldn't do it this year because of COVID. The other thing that we've been doing for about 12 years is the rehabilitation program. And I run that myself. That's a 12-week program. So if you were a cancer survivor and you wanted to get a little bit better, you would sign up for this 12 weeks. You would come in with me and another group of people. We have a little talk. So every day we have lectures about things. And then we go do some aerobic exercise and some strength training. And the important other thing about that, we do cognitive function. So people have something called chemo brain when they go through.
What exactly is chemo brain?
It's a lack of cognition due to cancer therapy.
Okay.
No, you don't have to have chemo to get chemo brain. It's a fogginess. Some people call it chemo fog. It's a fogginess. It's like, I don't know, you get up early in the morning and you can't quite think before your coffee. It's kind of like that, but it's all the time.
Okay.
And so we had this idea that we could actually help cognitive function, and we actually proved that we could. In 12 weeks, we can improve someone's cognitive function through the things that we do. One of those cornerstones is exercise, but the other one is mental games. So we have lots of mental games that we play to keep the person focused.
Problem solving, things like that?
That's a little different than that.
Okay.
What we're trying to do is reconnect the neurons of your brain. If we can do that, people used to think, okay, you have so many brain cells, you lose the brain cells, then your cognition goes. That's not really what happens. You lose the connections. And we know we can reconnect, but there's a couple things to do it. And one of them is focus. Puzzles help, but it's really focus. And focus means, can you concentrate on one thing to the exclusion of everything else? And that's really hard to do, because you start doing a crossword puzzle, you go, oh shoot, I gotta go let the cat in. Right?
I mean,
and you break
people
your...
without chemo haze or whatever it is that you call it, I mean, have problems doing that.
Right.
You know?
So we found a way that we actually scientifically and statistically showed that we can improve cognitive function in 12 weeks. Well, so anyway, back to what we were talking about. That's the rehab program. Well, we couldn't do it because of COVID. So we couldn't do the rehab program. We couldn't do the normal workshop. So we came up with this online sort of workshop. And what it is, it's an EASE winter lecture series. It's 10 weeks, okay? The people do it, the participants do it via Zoom. And we would send you a Zoom link, so if you have a computer, it's easy enough, you can go on, and it's just like watching a TV, only it's interactive, and it doesn't have to be interactive, you can mute yourself, okay? And so we have 10 weeks of that. The ones that are in December, we have one on the 12th of December and one on the 19th, those are free. So if anybody, you have to sign up for them at easecancer.org, but they're free. So you could go check it out and see what you think. And the first one's on stress.
If you're a cancer survivor, do you need to be referred to by your oncologist to say you're good to go and sign up?
You can just go to easecancer.org and log on. Now, if you were going to be in the rehab program, Dan, yes, you would have to be. We'd have to check you out.
I understand that.
So it's a 10-week program. The ones in December on stress, stress is December 12th. December 19th, we have a fun one. It's a 3-part. There's massage therapy for animals. So Pat Vetter will show us how to do that online, and you can get your animal up there and try to do it too. There's an art for holidays that Amanda Jacobs does, and then a music section with Beth and Steve Woods. So those 2 weeks, the 12th and the 19th, are free.
And then after that, it's $50.
After that, it's
that's
$50.
The whole rest of the...
It's the whole rest. It's not $50 a time. It's the whole rest.
How can you get away with charging just $50 for a dozen classes? More than that?
Yeah, we've never charged that much. Even our Sun Mountain things are very reasonable, and even our rehab program was $30 or $40.
What's been the response since the whole thing began? The Ease Cancer Foundation. You getting a really good feedback from the people
response? We are almost always full at our fall workshop because we only have so much room up there, and our rehabilitation programs are usually full. People get other things happen. They got to go on vacation, but those are both been usually full, and so unfortunately we just don't have those avenues this year. So we have this online avenue. And there's a variety of things here, and maybe I can just run down through them quickly. So in December, we have a stress management with Bonnie McGregor, and that's on the 12th. The 19th, we have the massage for animals, we have an art for holidays, and we have a music section. Again, those two are free.
And then you get to take center stage
on
January 9th.
Then I take on 19th, and I'm going to talk about the cognitive function that we were talking about, talk a little bit more in detail about how that works. The 23rd, Chandra Villano is going to do a nutrition. She's very good. She's a naturopath in town and very good at nutrition. Katie Kemble is going to do health promotion and sleep. Sleep's a big issue too. A lot of people with cancer get tired, and it's tied with stress and being able to sleep. So we're going to talk about that. Ginny, who will be in here in a minute, is going to talk about planning for the future. Pat Vetter, who does the animal massage, is also going to talk about immunotherapy, which is sort of using your body's immune system to fight cancer, which is tricky but we're making some breakthroughs there. So she's going to talk about that. Tamara Wells from Confluence Health is going to do yoga and lymphatic massage for anyone who's had breast cancer. There's a risk of lymphedema, even if you had breast cancer 8 or 10 years ago.
The risk is still there?
Yeah, so she's going to show you how to do that. It's a self-massage. And then Maggie is going to do physical well-being and symptom management. And lastly, Allison Osius, who is not a local person, she's from Colorado, is going to do humor and coping and creative experiences. So a lot of this is included in our typical weekend workshop stuff in the fall, and part of it's in the rehab program. And so we sort of bundled it all together in this package.
Makes perfect sense to me, but this is the most important thing. Space is limited, so if you want to participate in the winter lecture series for just $50, you got to sign up.
Yep,
You
and
gotta
you
sign
could,
up online.
if you don't want to pay the $50, you can sign up and do the December stuff, and then don't worry, and then you won't have access to the other part.
easecancer.org, easecancer.org, and space is limited, so the sooner you sign up, you know you're going to be locked in. And $50 is a heck of a deal for all of ththese. Some of these things I'm interested in, certainly for sure, and I'm going to ask Ginny here when she joins us here about the plan for the future one specifically, because everybody who's fought and survived the Big C, you get a future. Mm-hmm. And nowadays, it's a whole other story than maybe even 20, 30 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
The amount of advances in the medical sciences in the world of oncology and fighting the Big C have grown leaps and bounds. We're not there yet, but we're getting there, aren't
Right, yeah, yeah.
So, you're passionate about your work, and I'm glad I had a chance to see you.
Thanks, Dan.
Yep. Again, we'll give you that address one more time. We're going to talk to Ginny when we come back. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Green Motion e-bikes have rolled into Wenatchee. We've got fun, affordable e-bikes for the whole family. Portable e-bikes that fit right in the trunk of your car. Fat tire mountain bikes plus unique vintage style bikes you won't find anywhere else. Get some exercise with pedal assist or just cruise up to 20 miles per hour with the throttle. Starting under $1,000, Green Motion e-bikes are affordable fun for the whole family.
Welcome back to Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley, part 2 of our conversation with our friends at Confluence Health. You just heard from the good Dr. Tim, who was talking about the Ease Cancer Foundation. We'll talk about this event, this winter lecture series, which begins on Saturday. So that's one of the reasons we're stressing this so much. So here to talk a little more about that and her specific specialty from Confluence Health. Ginny, I don't want to butcher your last name. Heinitz?
Correct.
Hey, I got it right, Ginny. Can I call you Ginny?
That'd be great.
That would be great. A little something about yourself, Ginny, your profession and what you do.
I work at Confluence Health for the last almost 40 years, and I'm a nurse and believe in making sure the patient's voice is heard in healthcare. So I coordinate quite a bit of finding the gaps of their knowledge and matching it to what
40
the physician.
years. You must be good and you must like your job. That would be the first.
I do like my job.
Yeah, yeah. And you're going to be in one of the things that we talked about with Dr. Tim with the Ease Winter Lecture Series. You're going to be doing your specialty, which is plan for the future, live now. Tim and I touched on this a little bit. Cancer survivors are living longer. They're living better. Mm-hmm. You know, getting diagnosed with the Big C used to be that was it. It's just a matter of time. That's not the case anymore.
Right.
So
right.
even in your 40 years, you must have seen amazing stories. You must have some amazing stories to tell about cancer survivors.
Well, I started in the oncology unit almost 40 years ago, and we had about 2 medications. And yes, people died, and there was not really outpatient infusion rooms. It was people were treated inpatient, and they were very, very ill.
But
and
now things have changed.
I'd say in the last 4 to 5 years, I've actually seen complete miracles in my career, especially with immunotherapies and first, second, third line treatments. There's options for patients that there weren't before.
So what's a good day at the office for Ginny when you're done with the day and you go home to your family? What's a good day for you at the office?
It's interesting you say that. That's usually what I ask patients. But if I can connect the patient's story of their understanding of where their disease is and what physicians and we as a supportive group, integrated group, can help them meet those special hopes and values in their life, and actually sometimes have to talk about difficult outcomes as well, but still making sure that the patient's voice is heard in healthcare.
And that's critical.
It's critical, otherwise we don't know how to help them always. We think we do, but maybe we're going to miss some emotional components and values of how they want to do this journey in their life with cancer through progressive treatments that are going to cure them. And then sometimes in my job it doesn't always work, and how do they change that hope and that path, and how can we help them? And it takes a whole team, it takes a whole village.
Well, thank goodness that the oncology department at Central Washington Hospital and Confluence Health are top flight people. That helps. I've interviewed a number of your cohorts in the department, and I found them all to be terribly professional and very passionate about their work.
Yes.
Very much so. Specifically, you're going to be, during this, the winter lecture series that Dr. Tim just talked about, on February 20th of next year, Plan for the Future, Live Now. You're going to be doing this, Ginny. Give us an idea of what people can expect when you do your part.
Well, could be applicable to anybody, and especially I think we're thinking more of it as COVID enters into it too, is who am I as a person and what do I need to get ready if something were to happen. But I always kind of think of how do we get ready however old we are and whatever we're experiencing. So I talk a lot about what's important to them physically, emotionally, spiritually, and practical. How do you do this time with cancer? How do you make sure that your voice is heard again? That, as you said, what makes a good day for you? And then honoring those wishes. But specifically for planning for the future has to do with advanced directives, power of attorney for healthcare, which I think is the most important part in healthcare, that if at any time you're not able to make your own decisions, which can vary, following surgery, you might not be able to make your decisions because of anesthesia. Who's going to make that for you? And making sure that is paramount in your chart. Who is that person, and how would you pick that person? Maybe having a spouse or the oldest child is not the right person. Who can speak against the white coats?
Yeah.
Who can emotionally kind of remove themselves of the situation and enter into what this person may or may not say that's important to them as they make medical decisions? And then how do you practically do things? How do I network in the community? What resources as a cancer person do I need? There's a wellness place. There's Tim in regards to survivorship rehab. How do I connect with ease.org? How do I connect with these people that are part of this program? I'm done with my treatment, now what?
Yeah.
Where do I go? I had great support, and I didn't have a clue how to get through it. Well, now I don't know how to get through this part. And once diagnosed with cancer, I do think it always lurks behind you and how hard that is. I knew who I was before cancer. I kind of know what I am doing now with cancer, but I am so afraid that cancer is going to come back. And so how can we deal with physically, nutrition, exercise, symptom management? They have burdens. How often am I going to be followed? What do I need to know? So they actually meet with nurse practitioners in the oncology department in regards to survivorship. They actually get a great, I think it's at least an hour initially, of what they can maybe expect, and having people that really understand cancer help them and guide them through next steps. And then the workshops are wonderful. They get to connect with other people. But I'm finding through Zoom you still can connect. I've taken quite a few Zoom classes.
That was going to be my next question, because obviously when you were all gathered together up at the lodge, everybody has the same, or dealing with basically the same kind of situation. There's a support group there that's kind of built in because everybody is together under one roof for a weekend, and now you have to do everything remotely with Zoom and computers. Are you losing a little bit of that human touch, that emotional support group?
Well, it'll be interesting to see what the attendees think. But okay. I've been on Zoom meetings myself now, and I've taught, and I've actually been a participant too, and I am amazed how well we've connected. And especially if they use, I would recommend who's ever thinking about attending that they actually, if they can attend in person, have the video on so it really does feel interactive. We have to see each other, I think, in order to connect. Otherwise, it's one-dimensional, I think, more.
Yeah.
So.
And keep in mind, I did this for a family member. You can hook your little computer into your big TV, and it makes it so much nicer, doesn't it? It really does.
That's right.
I want to get some of the information down because this is we're under some deadlines here. Again, to register online, it's easecancer.org, easecancer.org. The first, as the good doctor just mentioned, the first 2 sessions are free. After that, it's $50 for all the other sessions that run all the way through April. Everything is being done online, but again, you got to get signed up, because it starts December 12th, and according to my calendar, December 12th is Saturday, unless the batteries run out on my calendar. Anything else, Ginny, that we need to know about this program, the Ease Cancer Foundation that you're participating? First of all, kudos to you doing that. That's kind of a neat thing. Anything else we need to know about this?
I think just one more thing that was also brought up earlier is that if you aren't quite sure if you can attend them all, as Tim said, that they are recorded. And so that gives you a lot of time throughout the week. And if you have questions, you can contact Confluence Health in the oncology department, and we can get you additional help and support if you have questions in regards to how to sign up for the virtual classes.
Thank you for pointing that out, because the live versions that we just talked about on Zoom are Saturday mornings, but if you can't make it, you can get access with your $50 subscription. You can get access and look at it anytime you want at your own leisure and your own time.
Correct.
But if you want to participate live and interact with other people, you have to do it Saturday mornings at 10 a.m.
Correct.
I think we got it all in.
Okay.
Hi, Ginny. Say hi to all my friends in oncology.
I will.
And I hope I never, ever have to see them for many, 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 many years, even though I still like them anyway.
I would agree with you.
Okay, there you go. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
I'm Dr. Wayne Latimer. I'm a chiropractic physician. I have postgraduate certifications in both whiplash, trauma, and rehab, as well as sports medicine. The location is great. The light and the visibility, the 17-foot ceilings are fantastic. You can go into a lot of clinics, and it's very clinical. People really like the spa environment, so my whole premise was take a spa environment, add the very serious rehab, and give people an enjoyable way to get better over time.
We are back. A couple minutes left on this program. Even though the sun has been up for about 20 minutes, it ain't really getting the job done, and it won't be for the next couple of days. There's a weak weather system, a weak storm system that's going to come in on Friday, maybe give us a little skiff of snow. I have my doubts on that. Saturday night into Sunday morning, a couple of inches of snow right here on the valley floor before it melts away from the National Weather Service. Here's what we're dealing with. Again, today and tomorrow, pretty much carbon copies of each other. Misty, cloudy, freezing fog in the wee small hours of the morning. We have some freezing fog out there right now, and it's 30 degrees. 37 might be a little on the optimistic side, hard to say. We hit 38 yesterday, and we had quite a bit of sunshine, but that 38-degree mark, of course, is measured up at Pangbourne, which is higher up in elevation, and it took a little bit longer for the fog to burn off up there. 29 for the overnight low. We do it all over again on Friday. Cloudy, misty, foggy, freezing fog. I have about 40 degrees. Saturday, sunshine. We're going to have freezing fog in the morning on Saturday. That's not going to change. It's going to burn off midday. Sunshine Saturday afternoon. Upper 30s for the afternoon high. But what we're really keeping a close eye on is Saturday night. Now, this is the second system, and this one's a little bit more robust. So Saturday night in the overnight hours, it's going to start maybe about 10, 11 o'clock Saturday night. Going to start seeing a little bit of snow. And by the time you get up on Sunday morning, we could have an inch or even 2 inches of snow, depending on where you live. And that snow should be tapering off sometime early Sunday morning. And then as you can see, with a high above freezing, it'll certainly be melting away with a high of about 37 on Sunday. And then we just basically have unsettled weather, typical December weather, partly cloudy Monday, cloudy on Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe a little bit of light snow, maybe a little bit of rain. As you can see with these afternoon high temperatures, upper 30s to lower 40s, any kind of snow that we get is certainly not going to be sticking around a great deal. And the passes are okay. You got a traction tire advisory on Blewett and on Stevens. No advisories or restrictions on I-90. That's it for us. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.